This is WFO Radio.
Hey, it is Friday, and it is Happy Hour on WFO Radio. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe Castello, and this was the perfect week for a celebration of the week that was. So many great things happening just throughout the week on WFO Radio. Obviously, there's a lot of tough stuff going on out there in the world, but, we had a good week, and it has come to a close. And if you are out there watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and you're at work and you're looking at it East Coast, you're thinking, man, this is the final hour. Drop what you're doing. Enjoy a little happy hour with us. And you can finish up some stuff. And if you're out there on the West Coast and you still got like several hours more to go, drop what you're doing and hang out with us. Have an extended lunch hour. My guests today, it's going to be kind of cool because we're going to preview what I think is the next major event on the motorsports calendar. We're talking about the World Doorslammer Nationals in Orlando, Florida at Orlando Speed World. I'll be heading back up there. I'll be on the call for Pro Mod and Pro Stock, and it is going to be great. I'm super excited. Courtney Enders is going to be on the show. We'll be talking about it. And Wes Buck, who is the guy who dreamed it all up, we'll be talking about it. Before we do that, I want to mention the people who make it possible for me to have happy hour shows that you watch and drink beverages. Folks like Total Seal Piston Rings, leader in ring seal technology. Last year, Matt Hartford and the Total Seal car ran the quickest ever EFI Pro Stock run, 6:46.0. That was a big deal out there. I bet he's got Total Seal piston rings in that car. It's just a guess, though. TotalSeal.com, hidden horsepower. Great podcast. Check it out. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Down there in Houston, we're thinking about everybody down there. Obviously, we're about to speak with a Texan. She will get us up to speed. Samtech.edu. If you want to become a machinist, engine builder, crew member, crew chief, there's no better way to start. Marvin Rodak, also Fort Worth, Texas. Marvin down there. He's still roasting coffee, though. And there's no better reason than what you're seeing on the news than to order some coffee and keep Marvin busy. Keep him moving. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin at RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. And, of course, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The next big event is the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals. And the week right after that, Dragster Adventure at Gainesville Raceway, March 19th. Why don't you become a part of it? Like, why don't you plan to go and drive a dragster and report back and tell me about it? Go to frankhawley.com. Also, our great friends at Nitro Fish. Just speaking to Randy Lynn just the other day, nitrofishracing.com. Don't forget the promo code WFO20 and all that great stuff. All right, let's bring her on for a little happy hour as we get ready for the World Doorslammer Nationals and get ready for the weekend. It's Courtney Enders. Hi, Courtney. How are you?
Go for Joe. How are you, Joe?
That's the first time I heard a go for Joe in a long time.
It's been a long time.
Other people try to use it, and I appreciate it, but it just doesn't have the same flair as when you bring
Nope, it was one of those natural things that happened, and now here we are.
Here we are. All right, so listen, we're going to talk. Wes is going to join us here in a little bit. We're going to have fun. There's people out there on social. It's going to be great. But you're in Texas. You're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff on the news. I'm thinking about all my great friends that are there. You're right in the middle of it. What's it like?
Today actually is great. Today's a great day. There's still just snow on the ground. It's like a normal Texas. Maybe we got a little snow overnight last night, but since Sunday night, it has been horrible. That's the last time. I was very blessed. I had power mostly through the whole thing, a couple of little blackouts, but I did not have water through the entire thing. Thankfully, I had a neighbor that did, and buckets of water going down the street to people. But it was pretty bad. The whole world was shut down. You couldn't go anywhere because our roads and things aren't prepped for it here. We don't, the vehicles to do all of that. You should have seen some of the makeshift plows people had. It was actually kind of cool, but something that always happens, Harvey, whatever it may be that we go through. Anytime, I've lived a lot of places, when something goes down in Texas like this, you see people dropping everything and helping each other. You had people on the side of the road with dually trucks asking if people needed help, so it was pretty wild, but it's pretty cool to see that.
Well, yeah, it's, hurricane country, right? South Florida. And I know in Houston, you guys got them too. And it's always great to see everybody like pull together. But the difference is, you don't want to go out in a 100-mile-per-hour wind of a hurricane, of course. And that's right. That's what 0 degrees is like to me. You can't you're just not ready for it. It's an inhuman temperature to just drop everything. You guys don't have the salt trucks and the snow plows. And I'm sure in some places they do, but not Houston. And
no, definitely not Houston. They are more prepared here. This was my first winter in Fort Worth, and they are a little bit more prepared here, but it's still the same thing. Our homes are built differently. The pipes are different, and it's so many people. That's the biggest problem of people that I know right now. Now in the recovery phases, the water's coming back on, things are melting and pipes are bursting. And so now people's homes are being destroyed from the inside of that. So luckily I didn't have any of that. I have a brand new construction home. Thank God. I was hoping not to have to learn about homeowners insurance. I don't need that skill yet. So
right away,
I made it through, but it's been, I don't need to know. I have it. I've had to go through a process yet. I'm good. But like, I'm telling you, grocery stores, my local HEB here in Fort Worth, it was closed. They put out a thing on their Facebook. They are literally out of food. And that sounds insane, but nobody could get in, nobody could get out. And people, much like the coronavirus, they panic and go buy everything.
Right. Well, and I was envious of you during Corona when we first started doing these happy hour shows, because like to get some Lysol, by the way, thank you for doing this. Cheers. Here's to a great World Doorslammer Nationals.
Cheers.
And have a little fun. Jason Logan today for everybody that's watching. We got a lot of people on social. Jason obviously has come on many times, and pretty much every time that Courtney has been on. This guy is working, but he'll be at the World Doorslammer Nationals, and it will be great. Wes Buck going to be joining us. Going to have to do the not fill in for Jason, but he'll be like the straight man on this deal. Derek is out there watching. Phil is out there watching. People are checking in. And it's happy hour, right, Courtney? Like, do you need a happy hour right now?
Yes. This today, it is Friday, but it feels like Monday or Tuesday because we were locked in the house. So we kind of got here. And I'm like, well, I have happy hour on Friday. And Dion goes, you mean tomorrow? I'm like, oh my gosh, it felt like Tuesday. So we're in that weird like lapse where we don't even know what day it is here. So yes, I do need a reset.
Well, exactly. And we've got a lot of people checking in out there.
Well, we got lots of stuff to talk about too, that Dallas Glenn. There's a lot of happening right now.
Well, like, okay, what? You're talking about Kim and Kanye getting a divorce, obviously, right?
I just got the Fox News alert, literally when we sat down.
That's not normally our topic, but everybody's phone is blowing up with that news. So that's got to be what you mean.
It's the same as the Amber Alert. When the Amber Alert on your iPhone wakes you up in the middle of the night, that Kim and Kanye alert, which is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, here Scott's got one that I saw you post about. How about you and your new like media career, right? You're going to be like a roving reporter at the duck race, the Sweet 16. How great is that?
I don't claim to be by any means, and I was almost even embarrassed to like text Jamie Howe and Amanda Busick and tell them, but this was kind of a right place, right time kind of thing. And sometimes I get to just saying stuff to people and they accidentally remember it. And I said to Jamie and Amanda one time that I think it would be cool with my knowledge and my personality to maybe give that a try one day. I didn't really mean it. I kind of didn't. And Jamie couldn't do an opportunity and she went along and passed my information on. And I don't know how or when, but I got through the vetting process and they've agreed to let me come attempt to do like winner's circle and pit reporting and top end reporting at the Sweet 16 race.
That's tremendous. No, I think it's great. And well, that's the reason you've been on these shows because it's obvious that you have exactly. That's it. You have the talent and the knowledge. Yeah. The two important things, right? You have to have the knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like what's the question to ask? And you have that. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait for that. Another big event here in our area in the southeastern part of the United States. We're like the only area that's like rolling because of the weather. Florida's still warm. And there's all kinds of racing. I was in Orlando a couple weeks ago for the first NHRA Division II race. And everyone was just so excited to be racing, Courtney. They were just so excited.
That's such a fun vibe when it's like that. The first race after the coronavirus stuff too, that first Indy, it was just, I can't remember who won what or what did anything, but I just remember seeing everybody and everybody was so happy. Like Kona 1's usually that way, but this was just so intensified. So I love that. I can't wait to go back. This has been the longest off season ever.
Well, and that's not figure. That's literal. Like with the Gator National opening up the season, that's a literal deal. We're starting NHRA Camping World Drag Racing in Gainesville, Florida at the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals. And this race we're talking about here today, and Wes is going to join us in a little bit, is something that he dreamed up to like lead into it, right? Like take advantage of everybody wants to test. They have to test anyway. Let's make it worth something. Let's spend some money. Let's pay some money. Let's get some fans. Let's get everybody excited. And I think it's working. Drag racing on the mind in Florida for a month instead of a week is a good idea.
Yeah. They have like options. There's multiple things happening on the same weekends. The official Nitro test session is happening the same weekend as our Doorslammer race. So we go from zero racing action to like all of a sudden people are, which one are we going to go to?
Yes. Yes. David Knapp out there, social media genius. Yes. He's talking about you, obviously. Genius. I like that. Congrats on the gig.
Thanks, Monica.
And then who's that pretty girl? Says Gary. That's Gary, come on. Subtle. I was taking that way too long. And we love to race. Don't know who that is. Yeah, if you're a drag racing fan, though, on the weekend of the 5th through the 7th, you got to make some choices, right? Because like the Baby Gators are going on for the Lucas Oil Series racers that are chasing championship points in Gainesville. Pro Stock, Pro Mod, Orlando, Shootout, big money. And having been there and experienced it last year, the star power of Pro Stock, like if you're a Doorslammer guy and you want to go stand right next to Greg Anderson's car, the access is just insane. You're not going to get anything better. If you want to get up close and watch Nitro cars test and watch John Force, you already mentioned Palm Beach. And Bradenton's got something going on with the NMCA. So that's what Florida is all about. I have kicked around the idea of becoming the racing realtor in Florida and like selling racers land in Florida next to racetrack, the racing realtor, Joe Castello, because there's nowhere else that is like that for December, January, February, March. It's just
and
so
you can
much
always
fun.
bank on wearing shorts and having a humidified hair day.
That's it, which you would not appreciate. But hey, the ladies don't like the humidity. I've learned that.
Okay, that's why I always have backwards hat on.
Okay. Look who's out there. Angie Smith. She says she misses y'all, meaning us.
That girl.
Angie, how you doing, Angie? Angie is excited to go back racing. Supposedly going to have a new bike, and they're going to be fast, and she's going to try to start 21 the way she ended 20.
I vote for that.
Yeah, I say door cars rule. And what's Brian got to say? Congrats on the new gig. Yeah, I saw Erica down there running Competition Eliminator in Orlando a few weeks ago. She was pretty stoked about it. Went red. I know she was annoyed about that. But see, to me, I think it's impossible to go from pro tree your whole life to 5/10 countdown sportsman tree off the bottom. That's a really challenging transition to make. Just to even be doing it and having some success, I think is pretty amazing.
Oh, and she'll drive herself crazy with it too. The whole first year she did that, she was trying to find what kind of bottom bulb racer she was. You've got blinders, you got all different methods. Everybody's got a different method. And if she just wasn't absolutely perfect, she's moving on to the next method. And it's so funny during qualifying in Orlando. I found it. She was 00 a couple of times. I think she was trip zip once, 17, 20. And then she goes like 60 red. And she was so funny. She gets so mad at first, gets over it. She's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
That's funny. Well, it is. Well, no different
Richard,
than me. And Richard, he just shows up and kind of wins. He wins the deal. Yeah, I'm Richard.
We joked and asked him, like, are you going to skip the Doorslammer race to go chase points at Baby Gators now? Because he says he's touring. So.
Oh, really? It was fun.
No, I don't think he was being literal, but it was just fun.
He's throwing out the shoots early. It seemed like he was having fun with it, and it seemed to work. And got to the final round and won the deal. All right, look who's ready to join us. Guess who's ready to join us? Here he is. And you guys are in the same location. It's Wes Buck, everybody. Happy Hour West.
Hey.
Okay,
What's
now
happening, guys?
Yeah, he's right over there.
You're the serious guy on the show now.
No, I'm not. I don't want to be the serious guy.
All right. Well, I have a beverage. Like, this is a real happy hour for me. And
we don't have any ice.
Yeah, no, you're out of
cocktail.
Awful.
Yeah, go outside. Go outside, Wes. Go get a handful
I know.
of snow.
Get some snow. It's melting. This stuff's melting fast, man. It's unbelievable. That was the only good part about getting snow in North Texas was knowing that this stuff would be melted in a few days. Whenever you get snow like we had down here in the Northeast, where I'm from, Northeast Missouri, you
Yep.
better count on that stuff hanging around for like a month, turning into that gray black mush. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. But
I
that's
don't
a
know
real
what you're
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're from Florida, you don't get
No.
it. But
None of it.
seriously, it's
I
a real
do.
thing.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, when it snows in the Northeast or the Midwest, you better plan on that stuff being around for a while, ruining your clothes, ruining your shoes. And the best part about having it happen in Texas is knowing that it'll be gone in a few days. So
That is great.
It
Well,
was here a lot longer. This is the longest it's ever been here because usually, like, if we happen to get it, like on New Year's Eve, we got one here, Wes, it was gone before the sun even came up the next day. Like, the ground's just not cold enough for it to ever stick. So you have to go outside and enjoy it. But here, it's like, when are you leaving? Leave.
it's crazy, man.
Did you guys play in the snow at all? Like, I know it was kind of a national disaster for you guys and it's like safety and life and all of that. But Wes, I know you got kids and like, were you able to take the opportunity to enjoy it a little bit? Like, I know.
Yeah, man. Like my kids, like my little girl, Sophia Grace, she is 6 and she couldn't wait. Like she was so excited that it was snowing. And however, her mother and I, like geniuses, when we moved to Texas, we just left all of our like cold weather gear back home. We're like, well, we shouldn't need this in Dallas or Worth. Like we'll never need this stuff ever. So we brought jackets. I mean, we're not stupid, but we didn't bring like any like no Carhartts, no like bib overalls, and people are probably surprised that I can even say these words, like no big boots or anything like that. So we left all that behind. So I found myself earlier this week. I don't know if this is a genius parenting move or if
Oh boy.
But I took Walmart sacks, put them around Sophia's shoes, her regular shoes, and then duct taped them onto her legs, and all of a sudden she's got freaking waterproof shoes.
There it is.
Let's play in the snow. Let's roll. Let's do it.
Send it.
So I was.
You're officially a Texan because that's what we
Yeah.
call redneck engineering. And as you can see, all the
I'm pretty proud.
videos online of people down I-10 in Houston, rednecks will do some crazy stuff.
Man, it was. But Sophia had a ball, and it has been. She loves it. I don't. I've shoveled enough snow in my life. I used to tell people that I can't really trust anyone who's never shoveled snow. Like we can't connect.
Right.
Like if you haven't lived that, then we're gonna struggle. Like it's just a thing. But now, I mean, those days are behind me. I don't care if I ever see it again. Christmas was great. No snow, no problems. I don't need it in my life. But man, Sophia had a ball, and that was fun. And I think my favorite thing to do is be a dad. So that was a victory for me.
Well, that's great. And you guys are safe and things are getting better and they're coming around and anything that people come together during times of strife. And that is great. I'm glad we got that going and made a snow angel and all that. But you guys will be in Florida soon. And, we're talking World Doorslammer Nationals. This is like the what I would like to consider. Wes, you've invited me to announce again. I'm super excited. But last year was a very different scenario in that I had to like parachute in at the last second. Because of an absence by our friend Brian Loans, was unable to do it. By the way, happy birthday, Brian. Today is Brian's birthday.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Oh, yeah, Brian.
Yes, happy birthday. But for an event that was rapidly put together, it was so much fun. It was just a fun start. It was a fun vibe, a fun feel. We had fun. And I know you've been thinking about it all year long. You took a big risk doing it. Outdoor promotion, like, you crazy. Outdoor promotion, come on. But it went off well and everybody loved it and people have been talking about it and here we go again. So what do you got? Just lay it out for us.
Well, Joe, thank you. And you did save the day, dude. I'm telling you, last year, the way you came in, and I've told this to many people, and let's spend a little bit of time giving credit where credit's due, because I think Joe Castello throughout our industry is slept on at times. I've been saying this phrase a lot.
Yes. Well,
and
just sit back, Joe.
This is a true story. Homeboy shows up in Orlando, last minute deal. He's jumping from one flight to another flight, and it was a big conundrum. He's going through a big pain in the butt to get to Orlando for me. He gets there, late flight, early morning, the whole bit. Shows up at the track, and not only did you announce, which you did a fantastic job announcing for me, but you also you produced our pre-race ceremony. I love people. I think business in 2021 is about being a Swiss Army knife of sorts. You need to be able to wear. historically businesses are very vertical, right? And you've got executives, managers, everybody's able to stay in their lane. The trends have changed, in business in this day and age. Companies are flat, very flat. And it's a blessing and a curse, but you need people that are just able to adapt, pivot, wear multiple hats, and you delivered in spades for me, Joe, and I'll never, ever forget it. And I wanted to make sure to say that publicly and let you know and everybody else know that as long as we're doing drag races, you're going to be a part of them. And if you're willing, of course. We feel a great privilege and honor to have you down there calling the shots. You'll be working alongside Al Tucci this year. We're also going to have Jason Logan, who I know is a friend of the show. So there's going to be a lot of personality on the PA, and it gets me excited. But yeah, man, the SeaTac World Doorslammer Nationals presented by Jegs, the best drag race ever, coming to you live March 5th, 6th, and 7th. Orlando Speed World Dragway. We're a couple weeks away. And man, let me hear. I got stacks of money to give away.
Wow, you got the money again. I like it.
I got stacks of money. I'm going to try to put 150 G's in some pro stock and pro mod racers' hands.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Right.
I
okay.
like it.
So I'm really excited about this. I think that you hit the nail on the head, and this is a lesson learned from the fine folks at Bandimere Speedway. Fun is left out in the cold so often. Like it's become so competitive. The cars are so fast, the intensity, all these things that we know drag racing for, but it's supposed to be fun. So for me, that is something that we want to be the tip of the spear for the World Doorslammer Nationals. We lead with fun. We're trying to create an experience. We're trying to make this a memorable happening. Of course, we're going to have fantastic racing, side-by-side competition, big money, etc. But we're really focused on making sure that racers are able to come out and maybe be reminded, if they have forgotten, that this sport, this hobby, this passion of ours is supposed to be fun. Let's come out and have a big time. Let's throw a party. Let's have some beers. Let's go drag racing. That's what I think that you were talking about a moment ago, Joe, is unique about it. Because, and this is no sort of knock at any other sanctioned series, whatever, but those deals, the points, there's so many ramifications, right? And Greg Anderson and I talked about this. It was one of the first comments that he made to me on the grounds of Orlando Speed World last spring, is he said, man, it's just, there's no points. There's no
right. It's a shootout.
Background things. It's a shootout.
It's a big money shootout.
It's a big money shootout. And I just think that it has, I've got goosebumps, shocking. I just get so excited talking about this stuff. And I couldn't be more excited to add to the mix. It felt like a logical progression to bring in top sportsmen, comp eliminators, stock, super stock combo, factory shootout. Like, I was so excited to bring these folks into the family and let them experience some of that fun and magic that you were talking about that we all got to take in 2020. So it's just growing. We're so blessed to have so many people that share our vision. I've said it a lot. I believe Doorslammer drag racing can carry a show. I believe it's a marquee attraction. You can't tell me that Eric Enders isn't the show. It isn't a show. That Jed Coughlin Jr. isn't being in their presence.
Greg and Jed in the final round for 50 grand.
You can't.
That was so cool.
Grand.
Are you a drag racing fan? Like, I've gone to tracks. I remember me and my dad driving an hour to Palm Beach to see much lesser shows. Like, the idea that you can see two of the greatest of all time in anything. Like, pick your sport. Is it tennis? Is it golf? What is it? Two of the greatest. We're going to go see the two greatest ping pong players battle it out, like, for $50,000. My goodness, it was incredible. It was. I
literally had Daryl Gwynn, like the Daryl Gwynn. This is also a low key like friend drop that he texted me. Texted me as soon as we announced the date. Has nothing to do with the Doorslammer stuff, right? Like, can I come? Do I have a ticket if I want to come? Could I maybe like set something up? So outside of our own little bubble here, not to, keep bragging on our own stuff, but like Clay Milliken's out there last year, like these people who have no dog in the fight want to come watch because of everything that Wes Buck just said.
Absolutely. And so some people out there, okay, so for instance, we're getting some real questions. We're going out on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, etc. So people are asking some real-time questions. This is a happy hour, folks, but if you have questions, we'll answer them. Like television coverage, Wes, like someone who can't go to Orlando. They can't
Flow
see it, of
Racing.
course.
We
Flow
have signed
Racing.
a 3-year exclusive agreement with the guys at Flow Racing. Mike, James, everybody that I've encountered at this company have been fantastic. I love their vision and their passion for growth. These are some people that see the sport of drag racing as fertile soil. They see opportunity for growth, opportunity to bring more eyeballs, more dollars, more sponsorship relations, more overall visibility to the sport. And we will be streaming all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on flowracing.com. And I'll actually have one of our teams throw a link, one of our guys throw a link in the comments if anybody wants to join, because you can join through us, and that makes us look good. So we will, we certainly appreciate that. But we are looking, we explored broadcast TV partners. Joe, you have a lot more experience in that world than I do. And we started down that road, and it is one of the, sometimes you got to leave things for the future, right? That's something that I think that myself and like everybody, we're kind of this whole group that's involved with the race. Oftentimes we want to like start at the finish line. And we were working towards a broadcast television deal, and it felt like, okay, this was going to be rushed, and it wasn't going to work the way that I wanted a handful of things to work, and it wasn't going to be perfect. It wasn't going to be what we wanted it to be in the time frame that we were working with. So we kind of left that as something to move into the future. I'd love to see this race on MAV TV, you know, namely as somebody that's a big deliverer of a big time content creator for motorsports across the board. So we got some big stuff in the works.
And you're working it. And obviously there's a million questions that like, okay, guys, sorry to tell you, audience, that there are questions that I would ask Wes privately that I'm not going to ask right here. But like, if you own the footage, man, that can be done after the fact. You know, you can edit
absolutely
anything. You can do that.
It absolutely can.
To broadcast it live on a network is going to be really challenging. I mean, because it's a full day broadcast, but to package something in an hour, you guys will be able to do that, which is great. And look at the people who've got out there, like David Knapp, of course. And I don't know how many people know Dave, but we're talking Englishtown, New Jersey, David Knapp, and he's super excited about it too. He was talking about expansion plans, and everyone's, if you love door cars, and you know how it goes, like Courtney, and you grow up a sportsman racer, you aspire to be in pro stock or pro mod. That's the way it is. The alcohol cars, you maybe aspire to be in a nitro car. Like I never really envisioned myself in a nitro car because it's crazy. Those guys are nuts. But man, in a pro stock car, I wish, I dream. When I go bracket racing, everyone says, dude, what's up with pro stock? You know, they deserve to be the stars somewhere. That's
the dream. I've said this before, but I truly believe that, and this is not a knock on nitro racing. It's just, I think, a reality that
that's
dream is that is so, most people are so far removed from that. I've said before that I think that dream, the door slammer dream is alive and well, right? I mean, we certainly have super teams in pro stock, elite motorsports, KB racing come to mind.
Yeah, but we're still just
have the same thing. Yeah, but what's interesting is, and if you look at Pro Mod, we have the same things, right? We have the Bahrain One racing team. You know, they've got 2-3 cars out there. We've had the Alanabi Performance team. We've had the list goes on, right? J&A Services, Jim and Amy Whiteley and their son Steven. Like that's something that it exists. But we've also got like Clint Satterfield and Bob Gardner, two dudes out there qualifying and competing at a high level. There's a lot of that. There's room for that. There's guys that are still trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, by way of ingenuity and effort and after hours. And so I just think that the dream of door slammer racing is alive and well. People can still aspire to do that. It's obviously not cheap. It's not easy. Any of those things, words you could never use to describe it. But I do think, like you said, Joe, there's a whole lot of people, no matter where they're at in their racing life currently, their eye or the dream is pro stock. The dream is pro mod. And I'm just super excited to participate in that in some way, shape, or form. My love affair with this type of drag racing is no secret. We've talked about it many, many, many times, but I truly believe that this is what these people deserve. They deserve this moment. They deserve to be treated as the stars of the show. They deserve to experience the fanfare and the hoopla of not playing second fiddle to John Force. And that's it. That situation, it's not unfair. I mean, it's not necessarily unfair or unjust. It makes sense. I get it. But I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and I have people who argue with me, that Door Slammer drag racing, the stars and cars of Pro Stock and Pro Mod, are a show. This is something that can capture the attention and the imagination of people around the world, and has in many ways. And I just want to go to my grave knowing that I did my damnedest to make sure that these men and women get their due, get their 15 minutes of fame, get their moment in the sun, because by God, they deserve it.
Absolutely. All right, Courtney. Now, you know, the audience out there, like we got people out there like they don't even recognize you, by the way. But talk about last year, your experience, because
I've got to stop wearing my hair in buns and no makeup.
Yeah, like people are like, I don't know, I didn't realize that was Courtney Enders on there. Oh my goodness, we got Wes Buck and Courtney Enders doing a happy hour on WFO radio. But one thing that just always aggravates me, and it's like, okay, you know, I like NASCAR, but I hate football. I like Nitro, but I hate Pro Stock. It's like, okay, why do you got to hate anything? And we're in this world of drag racing where we're all trying to make it. Wes, the magazine, Drag Illustrated. Courtney, you guys got Kingsridge Media, and your sister is a driver who's relying on sponsorship in our world, which, you know, selling oil pumps to bracket racers and to, frankly, you know, regular mechanics. Like they see Melling on the side of Erica's car and they got to order a oil pump. Like, what are they going to order? Like, there's a bunch of choices. They should order Melling because they support Erica, that kind of thing. I got a podcast, for gosh sakes. Like, we've got to hold this thing up in 100 different ways. And this is one of those ways, like promoting a race, which is exciting. Courtney, what are you doing related to this event? And how are you going to be holding up this whole deal come March 5th or 7th?
I actually feel like I have the best end of this whole deal. Wes Buck is a force of nature and a workaholic, and he can have all of the people in the world, and we're going to try and help him. He is unbelievable at the amount of things he does to himself. So this week, I've absolutely been trying to get all. I told him this morning, I feel like we all have a bunch of jelly beans in our head running around because it's wedding week, you know. So this week, in a sense, is kind of just taking the loose ends. But I have the best gig. My favorite time to get there is I'm in charge of all the social media accounts for like DI, the Doorslammer stuff. I'm doing my normal Elite Motorsports nonsense that we are there, but we don't have any other clients. Like we usually have Denzo and Paul Lee and things of sorts, where at the racetrack I'm running around doing other things. So I'm able to concentrate on solely these 2 or 3 brands that we're doing to be able to create and capture all of this content that we've been pushing out the last few weeks. We had a ton of content that Wes turned all these daily stories into, and this, for having one race, I think it's unbelievable the amount of promotional material that he's been able to pull out of your hat or butt or whatever phrase you want to use there. But it's been unbelievable. So we're to the point now where we're staffed up to where we have Dion, we have Blake, we have JT, we have Mike, we have Nancy, we have all these people who come out, and we're actually going to be able to have everybody kind of have their own little lane this year. So I'm going to help with logistical stuff like the party. You know, I love to run a winner's circle. So like we did last year, kind of the driver intro and all that stuff. And I always joke that anything that didn't come to fruition or that we forgot about, the first thing everybody says is, ask Courtney. So ask Courtney.
And Courtney, one of our official photographers. This is something Courtney doesn't get credit for, being a world-class photographer. And one of the things that I found that are important, and I am a psychopath when it comes to this stuff, but I throughout the year, as I watch a Formula One race or I watch a NASCAR race, which doesn't happen often, but if I watch anything, the X Games or something, I'll see some moment and I go, oh shit, we have to recreate that. Like I need that photo or that video sequence. So I come into, like, I carry legal pads with me everywhere I go, and I'm jotting ideas down because I know that, like, hey, when we get to the race, there's going to be a moment at the end where there's going to be a winner, and there's going to be all this money on the ground, and I need someone on a ladder shooting down at them. Like, that was something that I feel you have to do that shit. Like, somebody, excuse my language, you have to think about these moments. You got to think about these moments before they happen, because if you wait to try to like capture it all in the moment. So I've already given Courtney a list, our other official photographer, Luke, Dion and Blake, our videographers. They all know that like Wes wants these moments captured specifically, these framed up photos captured specifically. And I always, I guess, throw in like life lessons, but you can't get, I encourage call us. If you're putting on a race and you're not doing this, call us, we'll do it. Like, or we'll help you, because you don't get another shot at it is the hardest thing. And you cannot have enough photos. You can't have enough video footage because it goes so fast. Like, the thing that's so different, I used to think our job was hard when we started the magazine. In 2005, in the fall of 2005, me and a couple of buddies started Drag Illustrated magazine, and we were overwhelmed with how much work it was going to be to fill up this magazine 12 times a year. Like, holy crap, how are we going to keep up with this? Well, the next thing I know, we've got a website. And at that time, we were updating it like once every 6 months. It had our phone number on it, I think, right? Now we have to update the website 27 times a day. We have to put content on Facebook, content on Instagram, content on TikTok, content on whatever.
Well, you guys do TikTok? I'm avoiding TikTok, man. I just can't.
We don't.
That's the one
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I don't have it either.
Sound cool.
Yeah. Can we all make an agreement today? Can we make an agreement right now to we're not going to the TikTok? Can we do that?
Not yet.
I won't. I won't even download it.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
I did download it because there's like some great content on there. Really
no, it's
incredible.
fun stuff. It's super addictive though, on purpose. And who's behind it all? Like,
Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of these Silicon Valley psychopaths. But I digress. There's so many holes to fill. Like, there's so many buckets. Like I said, it used to stress me out to try to fill up a magazine 12 times a year. Nowadays, we have to do the magazine plus 7,000 other things. We have an email list, all these things, and they all need like fed, and you have to feed them content. So I try to remind everybody, but like, you can't pay your photographers enough. Like, you have to have those folks, because the last thing, how many people still have like the VHS tape from their wedding? Right? Like, you have to have a wedding video. You have to have those photos. Like, even if they never make it up on the wall, you never end up getting them framed. You have to have those photos. So that's something that we really put a high priority on with the Doorslammer Nationals and its added value. Like, to be able to extend that service to your sponsors. Like, hey, do you need any material for any advertising? Do you need anything for a congratulatory advertisement? Do you need anything for your office walls? It's a fantastic way to create buy-in, provide additional value to your sponsors. So I'm really excited. Long answer to a simple question, but I'm excited to have Courtney spearheading our photo effort, because she's an incredible photographer. She captures moments. She's comfortable with a lot of people, which helps probably more so than anything else. I think Courtney would agree that no one's like they're cool with Courtney kind of being in their space. She's known them over many, 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 many years. So she can maybe get the shot that Joe race photographer is not going to get, because she can lean in Erica's car or
open the door.
Greg Anderson's car. She can open the door. She can do that stuff because they're comfortable with her. They respect her. She respects them. And I'm really excited about that stuff. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Got this one. Look at that one. No,
I may not know all the things about the cameras. I don't claim to be any kind of official photographer. It's funny. I hate even like taking my bag and equipment out up there. Wes, I'm so super insecure about my technical skills, but you're right. I think it's not necessarily that. It's the people. It's the things that I see because I know the people, and I love that. It's my favorite part, and that's to the long answer of your original question, Joe. That's why I'm so excited about the Doorslammer Nationals this year, as opposed to my normal gig at every other race. This is like when you get to go pay to play. Literally, this is my favorite thing to do.
Well, and it's have one under the belt now and understanding. I can tell you first of all, Wes, I don't think I ever got to say this. Thank you very much for, putting me in the situation last year where I could be a little creative and do some things, because I love doing that. Like, I love running, WFO is my business and everything, but all of a sudden I would love to promote races and I love producing. It's something I've done for many years, doing talk radio.
You have a knack for it. Legit. A knack for.
So let's have our first team meeting right now. Like, do you guys have an anthem singer planned out this year? Like, do we have somebody? Is it Blake? Okay.
Yeah, it's Blake Fontenelle.
Blake again.
I wish if anybody from my group, I don't know if my wife's watching.
Someone should throw. Are you kidding?
Somebody throw the
Hold
link
on.
to Blake. Just dropped his single.
Let's just call timeout. Let's call timeout
today. Real quick.
Let's just quick timeout. On the comment at the bottom of the screen.
Oh. That's the wifey right there.
Is Mrs. Wes Buck.
Oh, okay.
She gave me a camera last year and I got yelled at.
I don't even know what the comment. That's not what I care about. The comment. Wes, yeah, you're a good looking guy. You work out. You're a go getter. How did you do that?
Jacked.
Yeah,
jacked.
you're a little puffy. You're a little puffy.
Oh, dude.
But like, how did you pull this one off? Seriously, like, let's just you've done well for yourself. Let's just say that.
Thank you.
You've done well for yourself.
I don't know how I did it. To be honest, it was like it was an act of God, and I tell her that all the time. That like the greatest luxury that I enjoy in my life is her. That her support, tireless support. In a lot of ways, man, she gave up a whole lot of her dreams. My wife was a nurse in the OBGYN, I think is what it's called, like babies being born. She loved it. Yes. She was super passionate about it, but kind of knowing the direction that my businesses were headed and what was going on, we arrived at, her foregoing that career to stay home with our kids. As much as I traveled, it was kind of necessary. And
she gave up a real legitimate job,
a career that she loved. And I'll never forget it. And she cheers me on all the time. I know I drive her crazy because much like you, an entrepreneur, it's hills and valleys. There are no flat grounds in the entrepreneurial life. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm either 10 foot tall and bulletproof or I'm in the fetal position. Like there's very little room in between. And, she's rode for the brand for a long time. And thanks, Sam Smith. Thanks, Alicia. Somebody throw this. I just want to say this, that Blake Fontenelle, who crushed the national anthem last year on 13 seconds notice.
With zero notice.
I told him literally moments before I handed him the microphone. You handed him the microphone. Crushed it. He's coming in hot. He just dropped his what's it called? His
new single.
Single? Yeah, just dropped his brand new single. Great kid, young, Christian, clean cut, good looking, no tattoos, cool. I'm just super proud of him. And I truly think he's got some superstar power.
Well, that's great. And he came through in the moment. And I want to throw it back to the Sunday morning because, and give us a flow of the event, by the way. Courtney, you can take this one as best as you can because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. I'm thinking about that Sunday morning. And last year it was great. Like I thrive on Sunday morning at the Camping World Drag Racing Series. Like there's nothing like it, right? The anthem, let's burn some nitro. Like the driver.
It's a cool few moments.
It's a cool few moments.
Goosebumps. Yeah.
It is. And that's why people keep coming back and we're all trying to get drag racing going again. And I feel like we're all this one thing of passionate people, but you guys did something a little bit different last year with the driver chip draw. And I had a personal moment that I've shared with the audience in the past, but I'll share it again in that, to be the center of attention is always great. But when you're the center of attention and the people that are paying the attention are Greg Anderson and Matt Hartford and Jason Line and Erica Enders, and all these people are like staring at you, not because of me and my, because they're looking at this bag and they're wondering who they're going to have to race. And they're put in an awkward, unknown position. Like, who am I going to have to race? What's going to happen? Where am I going to be? What lane am I going to be in? Like, I don't know. What am I going to do? How am I going to react? Like that was my view. And I just wish I could share what my view was with everybody else. By the way, point of note, let's have the flow people shoot from behind me
please.
At those
Courtney,
people.
You should put a GoPro on him. Like
something, because what I saw, guys, you have no idea. What I saw was like the most awesome thing, seeing like the, going into the pull out the chip.
It's such a moment.
And it was fantastic.
I think that
here we go of it. Here's Joe. Here's everyone.
Yeah, no, I was right.
It was cool.
And I have the ability to like do my job and also think thoughts, like doing my job, and you see me doing my job, and I'm also thinking, this is so freaking cool, man. Look at that.
Yeah, I need to do more of that. I honestly, just, full disclosure, I probably need to do more of that. But I had several of those moments, and one of them was that Sunday morning on the starting line. It felt special. I know that obviously I'm biased, right? I mean,
you're pulling it off.
Drag race, but I really felt that something special happened. Like it just felt like a moment in time, like a real, true Kodak moment that people would be talking about that maybe impacts the trajectory like of these classes of pro stock and pro mod and their position in the motorsports world. It felt significant, and I'm not ashamed to. One of the things that I've always kind of prided myself in is being willing to like keep my eyes and ears open, look around, learn from other people, recognize that, there are the idea of an original thought, or with this many people on the planet, it's pretty rough, right? Someone's probably done it, and probably somebody's probably done it better. So I try to be a student of promotion and of the game and of sports entertainment. And we borrowed that chip draw concept from the no prep world, from the Street Outlaws. Like, I'd seen that the moment it creates, because it creates. I literally watched Street Outlaws on Monday night this week, and so much of the show is that part where they're finding out who they got to run. And it needed to be brought into high level drag racing. And I'm not saying that what the Street Outlaws doing isn't high level drag racing. I'm just saying these are, I wanted to create a moment where pro level world championship drag racers were kind of thrown into one of them street race moments. And I feel pretty good about this. We ramped it up a little bit, because when you draw your chip in Street Outlaws, and I watched this on Monday night, they all go back to their cars and tune and make decisions based on their competition. They all go back and they say, we got this guy covered. We need to pull a bunch of timing out of it and make sure it goes down the track, because if we go A to B, we win. Well, guess what we do in Orlando, Florida, at the World Doorslammer Nationals, at the best drag race ever? We bring them bad boys to the lanes, buttoned up, before they draw their chips. So when these guys come to the staging lanes, I got goosebumps again. They've got to go up there knowing I could have a seizure at any minute.
Great. I'm gonna have to take you to the hospital.
Yeah, no
it's
seizure.
True. They go up there. They've got to go up to the starting line with a tune-up to race the number one qualifier. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't go up there and lay one up. You hear that phrase a lot in the pits of an NHRA drag race. And I'm not, trying to discredit anyone.
Yeah.
But you look at the sheets. You know where they're fast. You know what kind of lights they cut. You know that they're due for a red light or whatever. You know their nuances. So you go up there and you're going to run your race, which everybody likes to say. I'm going to run my race my lane.
A to B.
But you go up there,
never be said ever again.
You've got them, right? Or where you stand for sure. And I think bringing these cars up there and having them literally have to tune for the best run ever. They have to go up there trying to knock the earth out of rotation. And it was so well received by fans and racers alike. I wasn't sure how racers would respond to it. I had a couple not like it. I had a couple guys revved up about it because they didn't know it was going to happen.
No, it was great. Listen, who didn't like it?
It has
to
be.
Call them out.
No, I won't. But these things, sometimes traditions need to be defied, right? Like, sometimes when you do something the same way over and over and over and over and over, and I did hear that, like, well, this is the way they do it in the
familiarity breeds contempt. Is a thing. You get familiar with something, you just get angry with it. You got to mix it up.
Do y'all remember? Like, and I was in the same view that you were. Wes, you were kind of all around, but I was standing above you. I got up on the starter block and I was live on Erica's Facebook page, which we had a gazillion people watching. It was so cool. But I was watching the drivers and their reaction to when somebody drew somebody or when it was their turn. And they were all standing there with their fire suits zipped up, like Wes said, buttoned up, literally ready to go. The visual I remember Jed Coughlin, when they called his name, he pulled his Velcro and closed it and walked up with his hands in his pocket. And when he drew somebody, like when TJ drew Erica, I looked over at the people and I saw Alex and one other person go like, all right, well, she's gone. Who now? And it was like this emotional roller coaster of watching those guys who are the professionals on the TV have legitimate reactions and like look at each other. TJ and Jeg look at each other. They're like, oh shit. Like it was really, really,
that's
really,
what I wanted.
Really cool.
Like that's the moment that I wanted to create, where Greg, Matt Hartford locks eyes with Greg Anderson and realizes, well, I've got to go through this guy. Like, I've got to.
And they shake hands and go.
Imagine this though. Like, okay, so we're all trying to program something that's interesting, and we, as you mentioned the Street Outlaws guys, going back years ago. Like, I have the great respect for all of those guys and what they do. But I also know that in the world of athletics, in the world of everything, like you've seen, like white men can't jump, right? Like you go to a basketball court all around the country, you're going to find amazing players that are insane great. But then there's the NBA. And, when one of those guys goes out to the street ball court, they still throw it down. So my point is that the best in the world are are doing this. This is where the best in the world are.
Street ball.
But the moment of seeing someone's face, like you're producing that TV show, like imagine you're producing the Street Outlaws TV show and you've got character A and character B and they're the biggest characters and they draw each other. Now insert the world's greatest in those positions. Greg Anderson and Erica Enders, given their history, you've got a camera on Erica. Greg pulls the chip. Erica's the driver. She gets the natural reaction. I have to run Greg Anderson. What is that reaction? Have we ever seen that reaction? The answer is really no. We have never seen it. And what's that like? Like, right? To know, like, oh man, I got Greg. Does she get, fired up? Does she get like, oh my God, buckle down? We don't know that. That's why the people love the Street Outlaws people, because they live the experience with them. And we have yet to be able to show that in our little world. And that moment
Wes, your goosebumps is my Apple Watch. I'm sitting here just talking about that.
Well, it's something that
Joe,
needs to be done. We got to do it. Like we have to capture it.
You're so correct. You're so correct. And I've talked about that with like high school athletes and stuff. Like you meet a kid that's like a super stud at his high school and he's the best to come along and however long. Then he goes, plays at a big college and he's just like another football player or another basketball player. They're all that good, right?
First round draft picks don't make it in the NFL all the time. And it's no disrespect. They're great for their county, for their state, for their region. But when you get to the biggest show, sometimes
the NHRA, let's be honest. And that's something that like, I'm completely willing to say that like the people that go out, there's such a difference. People don't often understand what it's like to go from doing something for fun, for your hobby, doing your best, give it hell, the old college try. We're going to go have some fun this weekend. And the determination and dedication to the craft that is required to compete at the level of an Erica Enders, a Jeg Coughlin, a Stevie Fast Jackson. Like that's a different level of commitment. It's a different maintenance routine. It's a different level of preparation. It's a different level of investment across the board. And I'm so excited to take all those aforementioned pro level talents, people that, you know, are more accustomed to the traditional way of doing things and throw a little wrench in the gears with this shootout style event. We're going to introduce it for the first time for our Pro Mod competitors as well.
Oh,
so
good.
We'll be doing a chip draw for Pro Mod. We'll be doing a chip draw for Pro Stock. It'll be, I think, a legit, again, drag racing moment. And I honestly can't wait, man. Because this is unique in that one last thing. I think last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the first round of the World Doorslammer Nationals, the SeaTac World Doorslammer Nationals presented by Jags, I think it was more exciting or as exciting as the final round of most drag races because of that uncertainty and that emotion, that it just, the first round, how can you make that round of racing more substantial, right?
Well,
and this is a way to do it.
I immediately, and I've said it over and over again, it's something that I get it. I get it. When we're like a professional motorsport, you follow something that's the same every time. And it is a little different, but it did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was cause discomfort, uncertainty, and intrigue. And
I was just going to say that when the best are disrupted and the routines go away, that's when you see different things. Like when we had to rerun St. Louis and Dallas, like that's messed up to come off the trailer and have to run the semifinals when you haven't even made a hit. Like that's when champions come about.
And that's what was the best part of it. And is, you know, like I obviously as an NHRA guy who works there and loves it, like would love, you know, is constantly like, I would love to see some sort of adoption of something similar to that so that the people on Fox television can see what I see and show it to the rest of the world, because that's
it's creating context. It's creating context.
Yes.
And you have to do it with movies. You have to do it if you're writing a book. Everything you have to find ways to create context, add layers. And that is something that I'm super proud of. And the ultimate layer for us down there is, I think, a shared passion and vision for this part of our sport. But it's also you start talking about racing for $50,000, $60,000, $75,000. That's a difference maker as well. And that's I've had a variety of conversations in the last like 24 hours, 48 hours since I did my show on Wednesday, ranting and raving for about an hour about how purses need to go up, right? And there's I understand that that's a easier said than done, right?
Of course,
But I'm telling
especially
you,
right
if you
now,
want,
but eventually.
yeah, but if you want to pour some fuel on the fire, pay more money. Like if you want to get more attention, you want to get more enthusiasm, you want to ratchet up the excitement, throw some money at it. It works every time, man. And it's what I like about it is you can feel it. Tommy DeApril talks about it. Greg Anderson's talked about it publicly. Alex Laughlin, that changes things because $50,000, $75,000, that's a needle mover in your life. That's going to make a difference. And you're going to see people red light that never red light. You're going to see people lose on hole shots that
My
never
sister
lose on hole shots.
She's not
right?
gonna.
Erica.
I mean, it's just,
No, she did
but
last year.
Yeah. Against
and
TJ.
I'm telling you, it makes a difference because all of a sudden you're not racing for the money, like not even enough money that you're not even, there's none left. We put diesel in the truck and we're broke again, right? Like that's not the case here. Like there's going to be money. Like we're going to have to, we're going to split this up. Somebody's getting some new shiny shoes. Somebody's getting some Louis Vuittons, right? Some red bottoms, right? So, I mean, shit, it's just exciting. It's a different level. So
Paul Cartwright out there asks about the chip draw.
Yes,
Paul, the
Paul
answer
Cartwright.
is yes. The answer
Hi,
is
Paul.
yes, Pro Mod. Yeah,
Hey, Paul.
I've worked with Paul. Paul's
We love Paul.
very sharp character. Very sharp character.
Wow.
Lyle is out there. Lyle will be running Pro Stock this year. Very excited. Or Pro Mod, excuse me, taking calls on the money. And that's
sorry.
all right. Listen, this has been a great happy hour. We've been going for an hour. I told Courtney we'll go for 40 minutes. And here we are. We've been going for an hour just like that. Final thoughts, Wes, like anything that we
They were both ringing. Sorry.
Yes.
Both ringing same time.
there
Call
anything
waiting. It's weird.
that we haven't covered that needs to be covered in this venue? You know, still a couple weeks away. Obviously, this is what I like the beginning of the hype machine here on WFO Radio. I'm super excited about it. But what do people need to know?
What people need to know is that we're on a mission to change the sport of drag racing forever, and it starts March 5th. Orlando Speed World Dragway, the SeaTech World Doorslammer Nationals presented by Jags. Come out and be a part of this. Whether you do or not, it's going to happen. And that's something I've kind of arrived at because I think it's so much the natural promoter style to be like, come out, come. But I've also, and of course I want everybody to come. The world's welcome. Everybody's invited. But I want everyone to know we're changing the game the first weekend in March, and we will continue to do so for the rest of time. And no matter what, this event signifies something. It signifies a coming together, a great time had by all, a shared belief, a shared passion. And we're so appreciative of all the people that are involved with this. We would spend another hour, truly, Joe, if we went through the list of every sponsor, every company that's jumped on board with this deal. I just briefly, if you don't mind, SeaTech Manufacturing. I don't really know that I can say enough about Jim, Daryl, Dean, Nathan, everybody involved in this company and their vote of confidence. I can't, for someone who grew up in the sport of drag racing, hoping and wishing and praying someday something like this would happen, to have someone contribute, not a toolbox, right?
Right. No.
Not which is great.
Right.
And not
Funny you put it
helping me with the trophy, but real money. And I'm so proud of it because I've been in the sport long enough to know how few and far between these type of transactions really are. When checks are being written and money it's a real thing. And we could not do this without Jim, Dean, Daryl, everybody at SeaTech Manufacturing. And these are some incredible people that love giving back to racers. That tradition and that passion carries on to Woody, Jag Senior, Mike, TJ, Troy, everybody involved with Jags. They have stepped up in a huge way. This is another group of people. Speaking specifically about Woody, he grabbed me by the arm last year, and it was a meaningful moment for me on Friday night. And he said, "Hey, man, we believe in you." And to hear that from him, it wasn't, "Hey, we believe in Pro Stock." It wasn't, "Hey, we believe in Pro Mod," or, "Hey, we needed some additional exposure in the Southeast United States." It was, "We believe in you, and we believe in what you're trying to do." And to have companies like that, multi-million-dollar operations, invest in this event the way they have, and in me and my team and everybody involved with this, these racers that we've been talking about for the last hour, I appreciate it more than I can ever truly adequately express. And it's Luke. We announced a deal yesterday with Lucas Oil, Brandon Bernstein, Morgan Lucas, everybody at Lucas. They've stepped up, become our official oil. Like, to me, to even say that out loud, that the World Doorslammer Nationals has an official oil, like, that's just, these are things that I thought about my whole life, like having relationships like this. And it means everything to me. Strange Engineering stepping up to be a part of all of our sportsman categories and saying, hey, what can we do? Love Pro Stock, love Pro Mod, but how can I help with the sportsman categories, right? Mickey Thompson Tires, Ray Skillman, Melling Performance, Jiminy Christmas. I'm going to have to blow this phone call off, sorry, and plow through this list. But I appreciate it if you don't mind, because I'd love to have True Leave, another one. This is a Florida-based company that's involved with medical marijuana in the cannabis industry. This is something that some people are uncomfortable talking about, but it's happening across our country, right? Marijuana is being legalized. It's being used as a medicinal device across the board, from sea to shining sea. And Florida, to have a company that's outside of motorsports, do you not think
I
threw a wrench. I'm sorry, Wes. I threw the wrench.
I got to stop you. I got to stop you. This is a very serious topic right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're from Oklahoma, all right? Like, you're middle of the country, very conservative area. The people who got some sort of like old world issue with it, right? Like, nowadays, 2021, this is legal in many, many states, and it's a business, and there's a lot of money being generated, and it's a business, it's a retail business. And it's not only that, it's helping so many people with issues and afflictions and all of that stuff. And to me, to hear you just talk about it like it's just another business is it's a sea change for our American culture, which, like we all learned in the 1930s and 1920s. If you watch Boardwalk Empire and Prohibition, what does Prohibition bring? It brings crime and gangsterism and syndicates, and that's all terrible. And that's not what anybody wants. People want legitimate, taxable businesses. And so me, as just someone who thinks that way, to hear you talk about sponsoring and racing and all of that, it's just so new and different. But it shouldn't be, and it's different. It's something that's never been discussed on WFO, and the fact that Wes Buck brings it up, like, I just wanted to highlight the moment, because
and I appreciate it, because it's a
maybe
moment.
Don't get it. It is they maybe like, no, things are very different now, and a lot of people have realized that in the last, let's call it, 20 years.
I'll be honest, I grew up in that household that you're talking about. I grew up in rural Missouri. My dad is a hardworking guy. There was never alcohol in my home. My parents don't drink or smoke. It wasn't something that was a part of our life, right? So I totally respect that. And I never want to, I've learned a long time ago that, like, trying to change people's mind is oftentimes like an exercise in futility. Like, it's just, I'm not here to do that. But what I am here to say is that I'm excited to bring new people into the sport of drag racing, right? They recognize the rabid fan base. They recognize the demographic, right? They recognize that these are tons of men and women that work with their hands, or that are on their feet all day, that may be struggling with some sort of chronic back pain. They're entrepreneurs and small business owners that are probably struggling with anxiety and stress. And they recognize that they have something that can help those people. And it's, if you choose to use something else or whatever, I'm not here to change your minds or make a sales pitch or nothing at all. But it's something that's happening in our world, right? And I looked at it as an opportunity. We made history last year. People did not jump on this the way that I was hoping they would. I believe, and I don't know this to be fact, but the best our research has been able to tell us is that we had the first cannabis company to serve as a major sponsor in a motorsports event ever, right? I mean, they had a display, they're educating people, handing out pamphlets, scheduling.
It was on Erica's door.
Location. There was a brand, Open Vape, another one of our partners based out of Denver, Colorado, on the door of Erica Enders race car. So it's a seismic change. It looks, in my opinion, I look at it as fertile soil. It's kind of funny because there's a little bit of a pun there, but it really is fertile soil that
I got
it's
you.
a new people to bring into the sport of
Right.
drag
And this
racing.
is a
I'm
happy
super
hour
excited about
show. I mean, obviously it's Friday,
Yeah.
it's happy
That's
hour.
why I brought my cultivation hat today.
There,
it.
there
Well,
it is.
and to continue literally with this list of
Oh my gosh,
people,
it's Courtney Enders. We didn't recognize
it
her.
There
is.
she is.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
she looks normal.
Who
She
was
looks
that other
normal
girl?
now. True Leave, PDI, Performance Diesel, out of Utah. This is a huge one. This is not bro dozer diesel performance. This isn't a tuner for your four-wheel drive truck. These are people that have dedicated their lives to performance for big trucks, semis, Peterbilts, Kenworths. The list goes on. Motorhomes, toter homes. They're coming down with like the rig's about 100 feet long. Coming down here to display, to interact with customers, people that they know do business with them. Because what I've often said is that drag racers, their passion for performance extends beyond the racetrack, right? Like if they've got a Pro Mod car, they've probably got a Harley that's souped up. They've probably got a diesel truck that's souped up. Their motorhome has a chip and exhaust and a tuner or whatever. I mean, these people like their stuff to be hot rods. So PDI, Jared, the whole team out there, Sean, Michelle, everybody have been incredible to work with. They came on board as a major partner. And again, another example of the success we've had moving out of traditional sponsors in our industry.
Which is tremendous. But in the end, like the sponsors make the show, but we need butts in the seats, people to come out and watch this all happen. Orlando Speed World, Ozzy Moya, by the way, like I'm from Florida. That track means a lot to me. Like we have to have quarter mile drag strips in Florida, and it's a big deal. I've won a bracket race there. It's one of my great memories. So which racers are going to be at this race? And we'll wrap it up. Like who are people coming to see?
I think people are coming to see the stars and cars of Pro Stock and Pro Modified. I mean, you're talking about TJ Coughlin. I think that this could be his breakout season. I think that this is his opportunity to really step in and attempt to climb the mountain that will be filling the shoes of his uncle, Jed Coughlin Jr. I think that's a very exciting thing. I think we're going to have some surprise debuts that I can't talk about here. I think we're going to have some shakeups with people that are driving cars that maybe you don't expect them to be driving. Greg Anderson, Derek Kramer. We've got Pro Mod racers coming from all over the United States. And it's going to be one hell of a show. We're selling a very limited amount of VIP tickets. If you log on to DoorslammerNats.com, Doorslammer, DOORSLAMMERS, Nats.com, you can click to buy VIP passes from our partners at the FOAT. We're really excited about that, to bring people down and be a part of that magic, create.
Now, when you say that, let's define that. Like you're talking like near the starting line. People can get VIP like in that too. You know, everybody
on the starting line. And that's why we have to keep these things limited. You have to keep people safe. You have to allow these teams to function and operate in the way that they need to. But at the same time, I'm telling you, no matter how you feel about it, whatever, we can have that conversation at a later date. You put a bunch of people down there in safe spots, behind the cars, off to the side. There's an energy that's created. Ask Double E, ask Erica what it feels like to need the people parted to roll into the water box. Jed Coughlin, that was one of the things Jed Jr. said to me that he'll never forget, hoping these people would move so he could pull forward and do his burnout. Like the feeling, there should be no experience that Jed Coughlin Jr. shouldn't have already had, right? This is one of the best
and that
ever
happened late in his career.
And that happened last year at our race, right? This guy looked at me square in the eyes, a guy that I've idolized for many years, looked up to for many years, can't believe that I know him at all. He's saying, man, I don't know that I've ever felt anything like that. All these people are here for me. And that doesn't exist. I'm not saying there aren't people that are at an NHRA national event for Pro Stock.
No, but it's different. Those photos we have from the starting line are insanity.
It's a different atmosphere. It's a different. That's what the thing is. It's like an outlaw. Like, you know, like obviously I understand. I'm very sympathetic to the NHRA world, and that's why I keep jumping in just to be like, you know, balanced in that they've got a different program going. They're the NFL.
They have different assets to protect too. We're in a different game.
They do. Situation. They do. We're playing a different game. I think that the NHRA does not get the credit they deserve for the amount of events that they put on and how well they do it. You go talk to any racer at any other race, and NHRA and their procedures and their scheduling and the way they do things they set the bar.
Well, that's why they do it exactly the same every time.
Everybody's trying to achieve what they are achieving. And I am quick to try to remind people, because that's an almost impossible standard to meet. Because as I put on a post this morning on Facebook, these people get 24 swings of the bat a year and have for 60 years, right? So this is our second swing of the bat, right? And we get one shot a year. So we're going to have some things slip through the cracks. We're going to screw some stuff up. We're not getting as many attempts as some of these other sanctioned series and events, but we're always looking to improve. We do feel we started out with a full head of steam and a lot of momentum, and this thing has gone really, really, really well. But there's always going to be room for us to improve. There's always going to be room to make this a little smoother or what have you. But we're getting better all the time. We're committed to getting better. We're not arrogant about this. We know that there's things that we've got to learn and experiences that we're going to need to gain.
Question about the local guys. I know you've added some categories, but my local racer friends, box, no box, super pro, like bracket racers last year were able. I do not know the answer to this question, and you might not. A
limited field of no box competitors, I believe, is what Ozzy, Maria, and the team, Jeff Miles, Cindy Marshall, the team have in store. One of the things that you'll always hear me say is that we do have to control the scale of these events, right? I want this to be an entertainment property as much as anything else. So it's important that we're able to run the race in a timely fashion. We're able to try to stay on schedule. And that's one of the things that is hard. You want to throw the gates open and say, everybody with a freaking car show up and we'll find a place to stuff you. But what you end up doing is running the final at 3 a.m. Monday morning in front of empty grandstands. So I owe it to my fans. I owe it to the sport to
the competitors.
Control that, and the competitors. This is something that another thing that gets slept on. We'll have us a barn burner Friday night. We're going to do a pro session under the lights. It's going to be spectacular on Friday night. We're going to have a party afterwards. But like Saturday afternoon, we're going to run a concise show. We're going to get everybody out of there. Let everybody get back to their pits. Let them get back to the hotels. Let them go for dinner, because there's wives, there's kids, there's sponsors. We can't just be at the racetrack till 4 a.m. There are those of us that have no problem with it, but that's something that we really try to keep under control. And I hope people understand why we do the things that we do and why we cut some things off, why we have car limits in each of these categories. It's really important to make sure that we have a concise, quick show. That I want to run a drag race. I want to have a drag race at high noon on Sunday and send everybody off for dinner Sunday afternoon.
I love it. My local guys that went up for last year, like that. But it's funny how, how racers are, man. Like they'd rather race, right? Like, so I would love to go to the World Doorslammer Nationals. It was awesome. I was so happy to be able to race there. But if they don't let me race, I'm not going to go. Like I got a couple of guys that are like that. So it's good to know that there's going to be a field.
I'm not going to please anybody for anything.
May I issue a challenge?
Yeah, okay. Sure. Challenge.
Call those guys, like right now. Come to the race. This is something that's a problem that exists throughout our sport, and I get it. We are horrible fans. Racers are horrible fans.
They are.
And we are doing a disservice to our sport. But it should not be shameful to acknowledge that you're a fan. How many times I see it all the time. Nobody wants to say they're a fan. It's almost like a bad word. Like it's got some sort of, it doesn't mean you got to paint your face.
Drag racers, man. The drag racers.
It doesn't mean you have to paint your face. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to paint your face or show up shirtless with like wheels on each boob. Like you don't have to wear a hat that has a blower on it to be a
fan. You could.
You could. Yeah. And I just think that people kind of get lost in that, because if you look at the UFC, this is my favorite example. You go to a UFC event, guess who the grandstands are filled with? Other fighters.
Yes.
They have no problem acknowledging, like, even if they're not on the fight card tonight, they're going to come support the fight. They want to see the fight, right? They probably know someone that's fighting. They have no problem going out there and buying a ticket or begging someone for a free one and showing up and showing support. And I challenge racers around this country of ours, don't be afraid to go be a fan. If your local racetrack isn't running your class this weekend and you don't have anything else to do, go help someone. Go cheer someone on. I remember this story. I rolled into my dad is a lifelong drag racer. Both of his brothers, lifelong drag racers. I rolled into his shot. This is about 10 years ago. The ADRL was rolling into Gateway Motorsports Park, or Gateway International Raceway at the time, about 3 hours from our house, the closest national event track. I roll into my dad's repair shop, Buck Brothers Sunny Slope Automotive in Kirksville, Missouri, 710 West Potter. I roll in there and I'm so excited because I got a box of tickets. And I'm like, Dad, Uncle, you should come to the race with me. I got all these free tickets, blah, 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 you know, and I'm so excited because I'm like hooking them up. Like, who else wants free tickets? And my dad looked me square in the eyes and he goes, are they running Comp Eliminator? And I go, no, they're running like Pro Extreme and Pro Nitrous. What do you mean? He's like, well, they don't got a class for me to run in. I ain't going. And I'm like, it's 3 hours away, free tickets. It's going to be a big race. And they didn't go. I mean, the moral of the story is they didn't go. I went alone. And it just, that stuff, it resonates with me constantly because we can't be so, it hurts our sport. Go
it
buy
does. No, it does. It does.
Go to the racetrack. Even if you're not able to compete and there's not room for you,
you'll learn something.
Go support our sport. Go be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
It's funny you say that. You know, just going to watch the way the pros get to the track, set up their pits, tow their cars there. There's something that is going to make you a better racer at home that you will learn spending a little time out there with the highest level guys. I know you want to go down the racetrack. I totally agree with you. But that having been said, knowing that there's a limited field is good. And
remember, like, have you gone to a drag race? This shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
also, there's like no other events going on. Where racing's the only thing happening.
Well,
and so I don't mean to ramble. I do.
No.
But that's an important thing.
Excellent work. Listen, I think this has been great. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to do this and get everybody fired up. I think everybody's fired up. Everybody, are you guys fired up about the World Doorslammer Nationals at Orlando Speed World? Put that in the comment section. Let me see what you have to say. I am fired up. Wes, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, I'm excited to be involved. I like doing as much as I can. And I think that this is a perfect thing at the start of the year. I hate to say this, but it's reality. COVID stuff. What are you going to do? What do you got?
Oh, man, this is another thing that I would say adds to the difficulty of these live events in 2021. Again, kind of the Drag Illustrated analogy. You think things are difficult when you're worried about the forecast. Yeah. Well, now you're worried about the forecast, you're worried about participation, and now you're worried about keeping people healthy. So we obviously, Ozzy and Maria Moya, and as a side note, Ozzy got some bad news, some health bad news that he made public. So I'm not, I feel okay sharing it. Got a little bit of bad news, is going to be fighting cancer. And I just want him and his family, Izzy, Junior, everybody to know how much we care about him. Ozzy and Maria Moya have become like really close friends of mine. And I love Ozzy like a brother. So I hate that for him, but I know he's going to crush it. I know he's going to whip this just like he's whipped everything else. And I want to say that Ozzy and Maria Moya and Jeff Miles, the team there, you can't not mention Jeff, Sydney Marshall. They're dedicated to doing these events and doing them really well. I think that they've been lucky in that they've been able to get a lot of experience. Florida's been open enough that they've been able to kind of continue functioning, whereas a lot of people are like going to get blindsided when they try to open their doors again after a year of having them closed. Orlando Speed World Dragway has been able to maintain. They've been able to continue having events. They've learned some of the nuances, cleaning stations, temperature checks, mask encouragement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we go down there, encourage people to do their best to keep themselves and everyone else safe. I know that we recognize that we're not in a position to, there's just no absolutes in this. We're going to do our absolute best to keep people as far apart from one another. One of the things that we had to massively alter is everybody knows Wes loves to throw a party. We spent a tremendous amount of money and time and effort throwing a hell of a party last year on Friday night. But I recognize that times have changed. People aren't going to want to be piled into a tent. I can't do that with a clear conscience. I can't ask people to eat out of a buffet line or, out of a trough of fajita meat. So we've had to modify the way we do that. I'm super proud of this. My wife spearheaded this, and Nancy Copen, our CFO at Drag Illustrated. We've partnered with a company called roaminghunger.com. Incredible. They manage 1,800 food trucks across the country, and we're bringing in a collection of food trucks for Friday night so that I'm able to, with a clear conscience, serve food, take care of my racers, take care of my sponsors, but do it with sealed individual meals. And it's just little nuances like that that I'm super proud of.
And that's why I asked the question. That's why I asked the question, because I'm sorry, there are people that think about that stuff. Like, are they taking this seriously? And you are, and that's great. And I was out there
today. He decided not to order chairs. We're thinking about the area that we're
I don't want anybody.
Changing the vibe for no chairs.
Right.
No chairs. I can't create an atmosphere where we're encouraging people to sit around on top of each other. So, I told Courtney, like, we got to get high top tables and table curtains or whatever you call them, whatever. But I don't want chairs.
Eat, mingle, go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, very good. Very good. No, good. Put that at the end, right? And hopefully this is the last one we got to deal with like this.
Well, this was the last one that we had normal.
Yes.
This was the last race. So I feel like this is like a bookend. This is almost the start of a new life where we've adjusted. We're going year 2 into this now. We all were experimenting, but this was the last time. And I almost said this earlier, Wes, and then I forgot when we were talking about the Sunday morning vibe. Hindsight even creates, in my opinion, something that made our race more impactful. That is the last time, literally the last day that life was normal, the last day that I wouldn't say mask or social distance or COVID or all these things that we've just grown totally normal life to. That was literally, not to be dramatic, the last day of normal life. Pre-COVID, life will never be the same again. And we were the last event that happened, period.
Al Tucci's out there, guys. Al Tucci's
out there. Tucci in the house. What's up, boss man? Well, and it's just, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm super proud of it. I know that last year, I don't think I knew, like, it only after the fact that I realized, like, how close we were to a real disaster, right? Like,
we had no idea.
I had no idea. Like, I was still joking about Corona. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest,
a lot of people were.
I didn't know how serious there would be. Yes, Joe Aerosmith. We're gonna have a food truck. We're gonna have a taco food truck. But
you didn't have a taco food truck, Joe. Come on, there's always a taco food truck.
I'm bringing a taco food truck. We got a gourmet grilled cheese. All sorts of. It's gonna be spectacular. Mac and cheese. It's gonna truffle fries. It's gonna be phenomenal. But those things aside, I do think that everybody, the NHRA, I think sometimes there's just a certain divisive thing about other events, and there's all these, but the sport of drag racing should be given a medal of honor because their willingness and ability to forge forward through all that went on in the last 12 months is unbelievable. The fact that I remember walking through the gates of Indianapolis Raceway Park, or Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis, Morgan, Charlotte, Forest, but roll through the gates there. There's a woman there checking my temperature. I have to wear a mask. I go in, I look around, and I see these racers that we all know, those of us that operate on the inside, are like set in their ways, not going to be told what to do. I mean, these are kind of rough, not all, but there's some neck, opinionated people in the pits of a drag race. And I was so proud of the racing community for just playing along. Nobody wants to make you wear these masks.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to wear a mask.
Right.
But we wanted to race more than we did not want to wear them.
Exactly.
And I just felt so proud. And I hope the NHRA and I hope everybody that put on an event and did those things feels proud, because that is a big deal. Most of these other shows, so many other sports, they'd rather just not operate than put people out or task people with that. Screw it, we'll just shut down. If we can't do it the way we've always done it, we're not going to do it. The NHRA, drag racing as a whole, not the case. They adapted, they overcame, and I think they're going to be better for it in the long run. So I just want to tip my cap to all of y'all that are willing to wear masks and wash your hands and do that stuff. That was a little Texas coming out.
It was. You're coming around.
There it is. There it is. Joe, gargle up and mask up for all the women, get belly dancers, et cetera, and so on. It says Al Tucci. Thank you, Al. Can't wait to work with you, bud. All right. Happy hour in the books. Final thoughts. Wes, going to blast you out first. Final thought for the WFO universe out there.
Thank you to all of you for participating, for playing along, for buying in, for believing the hype, for supporting this. We say outrageous things, we do outrageous things, but it comes from the greatest possible place, a desire to grow and build the sport of drag racing for the betterment of all of us. We're not trying to, we want the pizza to get bigger for everyone, right? That's what we're trying to achieve. I want everyone's slice to be a little bit bigger. And I'm just so appreciative of the support, the enthusiasm, every sponsor that we've had. And I was not able to mention them all here. I'm going to have to get a tattoo, I think. But I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, the support from racers, people traveling great distance, fans coming from other countries, being willing to get tested for COVID and jump through all these hoops to come be a part of this. I just thank you all. Thanks, Courtney. Thank you, Joe, for having us, man. March 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2021, Orlando Speed World Dragway. I don't think things will ever be the same.
Wes, be safe out there, bud. Obviously, the weather is not over yet. Be good. Say hi to Alicia, obviously, and I will see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Wes Buck. Thank you, Wes. There he goes. Wow.
I don't have to say bye. I see him in a second.
Yeah, no, I know. He's going to come jumping on your shot. And Courtney, here we go. Wow.
Me and you, bud.
You work with that guy every day, huh?
Every day.
Wow. What's that like?
Like that.
What's
Just
that
like that.
No. Listen, I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I'm excited. I want to hype it up. It's a drag racing event. I want to hype
excited. That's
yeah,
that's the takeaway from this.
And he mentioned the fetal position. I saw him in the fetal position last year a couple of times, which is great. Like, that's life. You know, you're up, you're down, you're winning, you're losing, you're battling, and that's it. You just got to go out there and you got to battle every day. You got to fight and try to do your best. And it's been a lot of fun. This has been a great little show. I thought we were going to do 45 minutes. It's been an hour and a half, and it's great. We've had a really good audience.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. Well, we have enjoyed the end of Friday, and now it's on to the weekend.
I have to say one more thing. I almost said it a minute ago, and then I just saw my very best friend in the whole world, Brooklyn Rue, is on this. Brooklyn Cottingham, excuse me. She's married with kids, and I still call her maiden name.
Right.
Last year.
Which one?
Funny little. There she is. Yep.
Don't forget about the gator.
Don't forget about the gator. So last year, Richard, everybody made fun of me because I said I wanted an alligator in the winner's circle. Nobody wanted to do it. So they told me if I pit fundraised, it's $1,000. If I pit fundraised, I could figure out how to get this. So Dion, JT, we all worked on it. We found Jimmy the Gator at, oh gosh, I don't remember the name of it, but they're coming again. Orlando Gator Park or Gator Farm or something like that. So we're doing it again.
The world's largest gator is right down the street from Orlando Speed World. Is that where you got the gator from? I mean,
it is.
Okay.
Our friend Jimmy came. It was amazing. He came. It was so cool. Neither of our pro winners, Alex Laughlin or Jag Coughlin Jr., would touch the gator. But we had him. It was awesome. So we kind of made a fun little deal again. We did the budget for this. Of course, I didn't get my gator money again. So now we've got him coming. But we're kind of doing a little fun thing, and we're going to give to a local charity that has to do with the conservationship of all that. So we're raising money for a gator, and I cannot believe that I didn't send you the link before, but I've got it posted on all of my social media and stuff. So it's just kind of a fun little fundraiser that we're going to get Jimmy the Gator and maybe his bigger brother back. So the main thing, my main job earlier, and I can't believe I didn't say when you asked me, getting a gator.
Getting a gator. So it costs a G to get a gator?
Dude, you wouldn't believe it. And then we got the guy, like,
I'm a little bit shocked.
In charge of it, and the tape that was around its mouth looked like something in my craft cabinet, and I don't craft, so if that tells you anything. So he needed to be in charge, but it was amazing. The handler, Oscar, he stayed the whole day, loved the racing, connected on Instagram and all that. So maybe on our next little promotional show, we can bring him on or do something with that, because I just love what they're doing over there. They safely take care of those animals and do all that they can. So just kind of a fun little native Florida thing that I want to do when we go there.
Exactly. Well, hey, Florida, that's what we have. We have alligators, and we've got drag races, and we've got beaches.
I'm good. I'm coming.
That's it.
In like 10 days.
Exactly. And you'll be so happy to be here because it's going to be hot. At least that is the plan. Courtney, thank you very much. This has been fun. This is a fun little happy hour. I think we did good. We covered all kinds of crazy territory. We went through all of it. We definitely got the word out about the race that we're all going to be at and the start of Drag Racing 21. And that was the goal. So thank you very much. Of course, all the best to your sister. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
It's going to be great. All right, Courtney, be well, be safe. Like you're not out of it yet. Wait till that snow melts. Then you'll be out of it. But in the meantime,
at least I got a hot shower. I'm good.
There you go. Bye, Courtney. Thank you.
Go for Joe.
There she goes. Courtney Enders with us here on WFO Radio. Little happy hour. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Beverages. The week is over. It's Friday. You ain't got stuff to do. And you're hanging out with WFO. If you're on Facebook, like the page. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and click the bell. If you're watching on Twitter, don't do anything. Just sit there. But you might want to follow me at WFO Joe, my personal handle, where I tweet out some good stuff every now and again. Instagram, same thing, WFO Joe. I do want to mention the people who make it possible for me to do this. And I'm talking about the folks at Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. If you like podcasts, we do a podcast for them called Hidden Horsepower. I create podcasts for, I'm a content creator, as you know, create content. Hidden Horsepower on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, engine building, machining, the finer points, the dark science of ring seal. Check it out, Hidden Horsepower. And of course, if you're building an engine, use Total Seal Piston Rings. samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. The next generation, you want to be involved. You want to be an engine builder. You want to be a machinist. You want to be a crew chief. samtech.edu. Marvin Rodak, RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Hot sauces, spice rubs, everything good. 817-924-6821. He's down there in Fort Worth, Texas, and he's buried in snow up to his neck, but he's still roasting coffee and putting out hot sauce for you folks around the world. And everybody always tweets out when they get the Rodax. They're always tweeting it out, and I encourage them to do that. It is the best. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, March 19th. There's going to be a dragster adventure down there. If you're all fired up to go drag racing and you've never driven anything quick or fast, show up at the dragster adventure. You will drive a dragster. You will enjoy it. You will be hooked. You'll be in the back of the National Dragster magazine looking to buy a race car. Go to frankhawley.com. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. My goodness, our friends at Nitro Fish Racing. I was just talking to Randy Lynn yesterday about the 10th anniversary WFO Radio t-shirt. You know, we've been around for 10 years here on WFO Radio, and this is the artwork, and we're going to keep that out there as opposed to like letting it just go away. There are people who didn't realize that we've got this amazing WFO Radio, been around 10 anniversary t-shirt. That's me right there, guys. And that's my, you know, kind of an homage to my race car. And go to nitrofishracing.com. Use the promo code WFO20. And Randy Lynn, she's got some of the WFO masks over there as well. Go to Nitro Fish Racing. Get yourself a WFO Radio, full-on t-shirt. Also, send a shout-out to the folks that are Patreons. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. The Patreons are VIP members to the WFO Radio experience. And if you think this is fun, the VIP experience behind the scenes is pretty amazing. And they're getting all kinds of gear and swag and cool stuff to make them feel super special about paying some sort of a monthly fee to be a part of the WFO Radio Listener Club. Go to patreon.com/WFO Radio or just hit the website, WFOradio.com. And we have had such a great week of shows. We had John Force. Last week, we had Leah Pruitt and Ron Tobler. We had such a good time over the past couple of weeks, and it's only going to get better and better. I've got something to promote for next week. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, I'm a little apprehensive to promote it, but I'm going to do it. Oh, first of all, shout out to our great friend Jason Logan, who is going to be the entertainment there this year at the World Doorslammer Nationals, J-Lo. And again, a big happy birthday to Brian Loans. A week from yesterday, Thursday, Don Garlitz is supposed to come on this show. Now, are we going to get Garlitz to do the live stream? Is Garlitz going to be on here talking to me about the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony that I'll be hosting right before the Gator Nationals? That's the plan. Yeah. Now, do we have the fallback? We'll get him on the phone. We'll do podcast audio only. You know, those are all possible. But my intention is to have him on here and have Garlitz on WFO live stream live. It is going to be great. Hey, big thanks to Steve Brenwald, who's going to be shooting photographs out there. He is big help. There's Randy Lynn herself. There's last year's winner, Jed Coughlin. But Steve Brenwald from Brenwald Media doing a great job last year shooting photographs of the World Doorslammer Nationals and sending me these shots right before the show. Super excited. All right, put your comments in the comment section. Final comments in the comments section for WFO, and then I'll let everybody go do happy hour. Let's see. I'm going to work from the bottom. Let's see. First of all, Tucci mentions Night Court. I don't know exactly. Like I think of Marky Post when I think Night Court. Tucci. There go the boots. Ask Jerry White Alligator Racing. Yeah. Speaking of Pro Stock Motorcycle, there's Corey 7. If only you knew someone with an alligator farm. Corey, apparently you could be getting a G for this, bud. Who knew? Right? Just go to the swamp and hunt one out. Yeah, you go to the swamp, Jonathan. Quart of milk. Go for Joe. Great show, says Scott. What's up, Scott? Hey, Joe. Don't know who that is, but hello. Way to go, Joe. See you later. Let's get some fire Yeah. That's how, at some point this year, I'll be able to do that. This was the best show of the year, says Jay, says better than Leah, better than John Force, better than all that. Listen, there was alcohol involved. Always makes it a little bit better. Very nice show, Joe. Thank you, Al. Can't wait to share the mic with you, brother. Awesome show. Great happy hour. Yeah, that's what we do. We have happy hours. And Kyle, if you need any video from the event last year, let me know. I'll send you whatever you need. I need the pick draw, man. I've been trying to see this for a while. I want to see what we shot of the chip draw, the start, like the hosting of it and all of that, because believe it or not, this may seem crazy, but I like to see the work that I did and evaluate myself to try to get better. I know it's crazy, but I love to go back and watch. And that's something that we hosted wild and in the fly. And I would love to have seen it, but I didn't because I was doing it. And I have never seen the video, not one moment of the video. So Kyle, send somebody some video. Send me the video. DM me, private message me on any of the social, Facebook or whatever. And I would love to see it just so I can put some thought into making it better, because you can't make it better if you didn't see it, right? But that's it. Am I going racing this weekend? No, I am not going racing. I have a very important appointment tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be working on cars and putting in window regulators. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be putting in window regulators in like everything that I own, and bleeding brakes, and working on my stuff so that I can go racing like I did last weekend. But there it is. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm WFO Joe. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, WFO Radio, like our page, YouTube, subscribe, click the bell. Obviously, I'll be at the World Doorslammer Nationals. So much passion, right? So much passion. I can smoke a gator. I've had gator. Jerry Savoy has given me, I had an incredible alligator food related experience a couple of years ago at the U.S. Nationals, and it was the best ever. I don't know if I want to erase that. Thank you, Jerry. Miss you on XM Radio. Need to go back on XM. No, Dwayne. Big mistake, brother. Big mistake. You need to go WFO on a regular basis. Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, subscribe, write us a review. I had a great time on XM satellite radio. It was amazing to be there on NASCAR radio and basically invent drag racing talk radio at the time in 2006. It's now 2021. But this is where I am now. WFO belongs to me. That was a different time and a different era, and I had a great time. And if they want to put me on and write me a big check, I will take it, yes. But I don't need to be anywhere other than where I am. This is where I need to be. And so far, so good, brother. It's been going good. Where did you get the National Challenge poster? The one with Garlett's on it and Garlett's phone number? And it was willed to me. It was left to me by a diehard South Florida talk radio and NHRA drag racing fan. One of the other things I'm big into is South Florida talk radio. Big Neil Rogers guy. Left me the Neil Rogers archive and a bunch of great drag racing stuff, including like this super cool little Garlett's toy. Got a bunch of stuff from Mr. Baker. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Rest in peace, sir. And that's all I got. So thank you very much to everybody out there. Hopefully you had a great happy hour. I did. Thanks to Wes Buck from Drag Illustrated, obviously for coming on the show and entertaining the audience, but also for the invite to work with Al Tucci at Orlando Speed World. The news about Ozzy, mind-blowing. Ozzy, if you're out there, thinking about you. Was wondering why is Ozzy not at the Division II race. And now it all makes sense now. But, we're going to have a good time in a couple weeks. And then, of course, the Emily Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals is the week after, and you've got to go to that. Like, come on. The Gator Nationals, the start of Camping World Drag Racing 21. This is it. You got to be there. Next weekend in South Florida, Homestead Miami Speedway's got NASCAR Cup. Next week, we're going to have a couple of NASCAR drivers and Al Garcia from the Speedway, Garlett's, of course, Alan Reinhardt on Tuesday. Look, WFO Archive is loaded. You can find an interview with just about anybody there. And I'm thrilled to be doing it. All right, let's see what Dwayne says. I was the one back then that called in when you said John Force bought Norwalk. I never said John Force bought Norwalk, Dwayne, but I remember your name, though. I remember you. I never said John Force bought Norwalk. I'll catch up on the Apple Podcast. Currently in Ireland, working. There you go. Hit it up. Have a beer. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me here on WFO Radio. I will look at Kyle has already sent me the link. Way to go, brother. That's what I need. Thanks to Courtney. Thanks to Wes. Thanks to everybody out there for checking out the show. Have a great weekend and hit that archive. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio. Have a great weekend.